Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Mark Warnick, the Doctor of Disaster YouTube channel. I wanted to bring some information I've been following all day, some intelligence that I've been gathering all day long to notify you of what may be going on. Let me state very plainly, this does not mean that the threat is applicable to your area, and you should not take the law into your own hands. Having said that, let me talk first about the threat assessment from the FBI. Currently, the FBI has sent out a memo to all law enforcement agencies, and knowing law enforcement like I do, some of these threats have not been passed on yet. So if you see this, this is a reminder. I'm also reaching out to all public safety and veterans with this, and I'll explain why in a minute. What the threat is that Antifa, according to the FBI, has sent out scouts in neighborhoods across the country. They're looking for anything that identifies law enforcement so that they can later harass or burn down their house or attack them. This is a credible threat from the FBI. If you're in public safety, you need to be careful not to take your cruiser home. If you're in fire or EMS, make sure that your uniform isn't seen in your car. If you have a thin blue line flag up, please take it down for your own safety and your family's safety. Now, I wanted to point out that in the Chicagoland area, within the last 3 days, a police officer's location, home location, was identified, and they caught two men in his backyard with a gas can and a lighter. According to several different sources, they claimed that they were out of gas in their car and they were just carrying some gas across his backyard. If you're like me, it sounds suspicious. The reason I said public safety and veterans need to be vigilant at this time as well is that Antifa has shown a total disrespect and hatred for veterans, for active duty military, and for law enforcement. However, some of these people are not the brightest bulbs in the package, and they may mistake an EMT or a firefighter in their blues for law enforcement. So we all need to be extra vigilant. If you've got the thin blue line flag out, you might want to take it down. Um, they are riding around scouting, trying to identify. They're also, according to the FBI, doing internet searches, and that's also on lawenforcement.com. They are doing internet searches to try and find where police officers live. If you live near a police officer, please warn them. Tell them anything suspicious. Make sure you've got their phone number so you can call them if something happens. And please have 911 on speed dial. The second thing I want to talk about, and this is even more disturbing to me. In the most recent riots, and they haven't named the organization or organizations involved, many of us can guess. They claim that those that rioted and looted, the vast majority of them were highly sophisticated in what they were doing. They had an extreme amount of planning. They had pre-positioned bricks, Molotov cocktails, and weapons various other things, rocks, and they had scouts that went out and sent encrypted messages back to the leaders in these riots where the police were so that they could do the most damage with the least interference. This is disturbing. This shows that there was serious intent to riot. And these aren't the Black Lives Matter protesters. These are the ones hanging out with them so that they can do violence, and then the peaceful protest gets the blame. Now, also, and the sources on this haven't, I haven't checked the credibility of the sources on this bit of information, but there's no doubt that anarchists are going to rural areas. I've been told that 3 or 4 rural areas have been hit by anarchists. And in one of those areas, the population of the small town in Nebraska was less than 1,000. When they showed up in town and the locals recognized it, they had a greeting party, if you will. Also in small town California, they had a greeting party for some Antifa, and quite frankly, they whooped the snot out of them. You can find the YouTube video on. In fact, I'll try and remember to put a link up. In any case, it is proven that anarchists are going to rural and suburban areas. This means you need to prepare. Now, once again, I'm not sure about the credibility of this information, but I've been told that they're coming in with jammers, and they are jamming cell phones and they are jamming Wi-Fi. And while this may seem like a stretch, I did some investigation this morning also on how easy it is to get a jammer. And for several $100s up to $1,000, you can buy a jammer that will jam signals. So if they're pulling weapons and stuff, which is another thing, they said that they have orders that when an officer goes down to try and strip his weapon and his body armor. And this is coming from multiple places. So I don't know whether this is a rumor that's spreading or if this is credible intel. Once again, I want to remind you, be prepared. Have situational awareness. I'm not telling you to commit acts of violence against anyone because that's not me, first off. And second off, violence doesn't do anything. What I would like everyone to do is to be aware and understand what might happen and how you can overcome the challenges that it may present. One thing's for sure, when they are normally met with an overwhelming force, a violent confrontation usually does not occur. That is not to say that they may not attack or that someone confronting them doesn't lose it. So be very careful with what you do. I don't condone any violence. Of course, the first thing you should do is call 911. However, if it's going to be a while, which is high potential in many areas, then don't confront them. What I will say is you should always call 911. Yeah, it's going to be a while for response. You must be prepared what to do, whether it's get your family out and escape, to go to a tornado shelter, or to confront them. That is your decision. Just please make informed and rational decisions. Once again, there's no guarantee. In fact, it's pretty low probability that it'll come to your area, but you still need to think through the process to be prepared in case it does come to your area. As I gather more intel, I'll try and get more. Sorry, I'm checking my Intel machine. Uh, but if I find out any more or anything else that I think my viewers need to know, I will let them know. Thanks, and have a great Sunday, uh, June 7th. Bye bye now.